Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to my talk. My name is Sungjin Im. I'm a faculty member at UC Merced. Today, I'm going to talk about dynamic weighted fairness with minimal disruptions. This is joint work with Benjamin Mosley, Kameshi Munagala, and Kirk Pierce. Fair resource allocation has a long history in economics, and it has been studied extensively. And it appears in both traditional computer systems and modern data centers. And examples of fair allocation policies include uniform fairness, proportional fairness, dynamic resource fairness, etc. In this work, we study dynamic fair allocation, where jobs or agents can arrive or depart. Well, what's the catch? The catch is that when a new job arrives, enforcing fairness means that we may have to take away resources from existing jobs and give them to the newly arriving job. So disruptions can occur, and they can be very costly. In this work, we want to approximately maintain fair allocations with minimal disruptions. The formal problem definition is as follows. As an input, we are given a set of jobs in the system at time t, nt, and we are also given ijt, which is job j's ideal fair share at time t, according to certain policy. And now we want to output ajt, which is job j's approximate fair share at time t. We want to be constant approximate, namely ajt must be at least constant times ijt. Here, the goal is to minimize the average number of disruptions per job, and we count one disruption per each job whenever we decrease its share. Previously, Friedman, Somas, and Vardy studied uniform fairness. In uniform fairness, all jobs have an equal share. So if there are n jobs, every job gets 1 over n of the resources. And they showed how they can achieve over 1 disruptions per job. As a side note, actually they showed stronger results, namely that they showed constant disruptions per each job's arrival or departure. However, this is not always possible for general fair policies. So that's why we consider to minimize the number of disruptions per job. Our focus is on weighted fairness. Here, each job J has weight Wj, and its fair share, ideal fair share, is proportional to its weight. So its weight divided by the total weight of all jobs in the system. Note that uniform fairness is a special case of weighted fairness when all jobs have weight 1. The high-level questions we ask in this work is the following. What is the minimum number of disruptions per job for constant approximate allocation policies with weighted fairness? And what about more general share policies? Can you extend our results? The following table summarizes our results for weighted fairness. In the adversarial setting, where all jobs and all the weights are constructed adversarially, we consider 2 cases depending on the dynamics. If jobs can only arrive or only depart, then we show log star n disruptions per job. Recall that log star n is iterative log, and it is constant for all practical purposes. and the result is tight. Unfortunately, if jobs can arrive and also depart, we show that the number of disruptions per job is polynomial in N. Facing this strong low bound, we also consider stochastic setting where job weights are randomly assigned to jobs. Precisely, this is how the input is constructed. The adversary constructs arbitrary set of weights and arbitrary sequence of jobs. Once it is done, and then the weights are randomly mapped to the jobs. This is in some sense a random order model. And note that this is more general than IID model, where each job's weight is sampled from a common distribution independently. In this stochastic model, we show that a simple algorithm achieves 5 disruptions per job in expectation and most. We continue to consider more general policies, which we call monotone. We say that a fair policy is monotone if its fair share can only decrease when there are more jobs. This sounds natural. However, not all fair policies satisfy this property. For example, proportional fairness does not satisfy this property. And for this, and we show that for general monotone fair policy, we can achieve over log n disruptions per job. And this is tight in the sense that there is a certain monotone policy that requires omega log n disruptions per job. We also extend our research to multidimensional resources. Proportional fairness and dominant resource fairness are among the most popular fair policies for multidimensional resources. For proportional fairness with Cobbs-Douglas utilities, if jobs can arrive or depart only, then we show D times log star n disruptions per job. And here, D is the number of dimensions. And for dominant resource fairness, we show D times log n disruptions per each job. And this is a corollary of our research for monotone fair policies, because dominant resource fairness is a monotone policy. In the remainder of the time, I want to describe our algorithm at high level and intuitions behind it. And I want to sketch our low bound result. Okay, here note that jobs can only arrive here. Okay. In the first step, we reduce arbitrary instances to special instances where jobs weight geometry increase. So when you are given arbitrary weights, we construct the following instance on the fly. So here, the first job has weight 1, second job has weight 2, and the weight of job arriving at time t is exactly 2 to the t minus 1. And we design an algorithm for this special instance. And once we compute the approximate fair shares for this special instance, we map this approximate fair shares to original jobs. Here we show that the reduction only loses constant factor in the approximate ratio. That's 1. And 2, it turns out that this special instance is the worst instance in the sense that we actually use the same instance to show the low bound. Okay, how do we design algorithm for this special instance? To take a close look at the instance, note that the total weight of jobs that have arrived till time t is exactly, not exactly, about 2 to the t. Okay. So under the fair policy, weighted round robin, its ideal fair share is roughly its weight divided by total weight at time t, which is roughly 1 over 2 to the t minus j. Okay, let's develop some intuitions by making some observations. Because the total weight doubles at every time step, all the jobs have quickly diminishing fair shares. And we can see that all the jobs, taking away resources from all jobs doesn't help us a lot because their resources are pretty small compared to the total weight. So we want to disrupt each job j less frequently over time. In other words, we want to disrupt jobs. We want to disrupt job j at times j plus g1, j plus g2, j plus g3 for fast-growing function g. And it turns out that we can set g to be inverse of log star. So we disrupt job j at time j plus 2, j plus 2 to the 2, j plus 2 to the 2 to the 2, and so on. And if we use even faster growing function, then resources get over allocated. So this is the fastest growing function we can use syntactically. Let's look at the former algorithm definition. Here, note that we have this floor. This is very important. So if without floor, and if you ignore this constant factor, AJT will be exactly equal to IJT. So by okay, so now because G is super fast growing function, G inverse is a very slowly growing function. So by taking floor on G inverse of this one over this IJT, we update AJT, J is approximate fair share, not very often. And actually, the frequency slows down. That's the key idea of our algorithm. And so one more thing here. If the algorithm A is a fair share, approximate fair share AJT drops below 1 over n, recall that n is the total number of jobs, then we never change it again. But then we may ask, how do you know n? Well, using a standard doubling trick, we can assume that we know the value of n a priori. So so whenever the total number of jobs doubles, we update the value of n. Then the whole algorithm, the analysis goes through. Okay, now I want to give a sketch of our low bound proof. The low bound proof is kind of cute because we prove it. We show our low bound by taking a geometric view of the dynamics. So this triangle has 1 or 0 inside. So look at, so the bottom line here is the x-axis is time, the y-axis is these values 1 through n. These index jobs. So BIT, what is BIT here? For example, this entry is 1, which means that, well, job 2 is disrupted at time t. So this triangle ensures the whole dynamics of the algorithm, any algorithm. So what is our goal here? We want to show that the number of ones in the triangle is at least n times log star n. To show this, we partition the whole triangle into disjoint triangles. And for each triangle, we show that, at least roughly speaking, a, a lot of jobs must be preempted. Namely, that each triangle must have contain lots of ones. Otherwise, the resource is over allocated. And that's how we show the whole triangle contains many ones. Okay, I want to finish my talk by discussing some open problems. In this work, we basically gave a whole complete picture of approximate fairness on weighted fairness in the single dimensional in the single resource case, single dimensional case. However, multi-dimensional fair resource allocations are to be better understood. For example, what is the minimum number of disruptions to approximately implement proportional fairness with arbitrary utilities? We only know the answer for special utilities called Cobbs-Douglas. And we have the same question for dominant resource fairness. We show that of d log n disruptions is possible per job. However, there's no good reason to believe that this is the best bound because this result was correlated of our results for monotone fair share policies. Okay, this is the end of my talk. If you have any questions, please contact me or my co-authors. We'll be very happy to answer any of the questions you have. Thank you very much for your attention, and please stay healthy. Thank you.